Hello everyone! Having taken a break to cover possible sumo reform, we're back with the training reports today, and I'm really sorry for the delay. Tuesday marked the second of the 4 interstable sessions at the Kokugikan, and Asanoyama again made his presence felt, calling out Mitakeumi and winning 11 of 15 jousts against a man he struggles to beat in tournaments. "He's a pusher with decent skill," said Asa of his opponent. And I told myself to ensure that, even if not so deeply, one of my outside left or inside right landed, as that helps me slip into stance and he can't cut free. However, when I couldn't get my outside left, he cut inside and forced me out with little response on my part, so that's an issue I've got to work on. The Ozeki added that his legs must be sharper going forward, or he'll struggle to take the belt and apply pressure. Mitakeumi, although well beaten, felt good to be fighting full pelt for the first time in ages, and judged his movement to be okay. "My best interstable showing so far," he even claimed. "I thought about how to make life uncomfortable for the Ozeki today," he added in typical in-your-face style. "But as you'd expect, I couldn't do anything once he got that outside left. His power is on a different level, you see." Asked about his approach to Mei, the faltering Ozeki candidate said, "I'll be going back to my pushing roots. I don't think there's anything in need of improving technically, and it's rather a case of keeping the mental side going for the full 15 days. He certainly drove himself to fight on in that session, also taking part in Winner Stays On with Onosho, Wakatakakage and Shodai. The latter bounced back from a dismal day 1 with 12 wins from 13 against those lower rankers. I guess, overall, my forward-driving sumo stood out," Shodai assessed. "But I still feel I could be getting into favoured stance more. And there was a bit of an issue with stamina, as I've only been going up against lower division stablemates until now." Several of Shodai's bouts were with a hungry Meisei, who was keen to make the most of inevitably limited dohyo time. Short but intense was the type of session he desired, and will be looking forward to even more once his stable moves far closer to the Kokugikan after the next tournament. Elsewhere in the city, all remaining Tamanoi stable wrestlers tested negative for the virus in the wake of Azuma Ryu's infection. A reinfection cluster would surely have been a Japan first. And Takakeisho confirmed he would not be joining Interstable, citing daily changes in body condition which are difficult to put into words. However, he insisted he was working hard on the arduous core exercises, and will be sticking to training themes each day, starting with pushing and collisions before resuming practice bouts. On to Wednesday then, and day 3 of Interstable saw Asanoyama challenge Meisei and walk away with 11 wins from 14, many of which were gained in one-sided fashion via a strong inside right. "I selected him because he's winning in the upper ranks and we're bound to meet in May," said Asa. "And also because his key weapons of double inside grip and hand speed I don't often come up against." Asked to explain the several inside lefts he put on display for a change, Asanoyama said, "It wasn't intentional, but these kinds of things will be important going forward. If the flow of the bout takes me to inside left, I need to be able to attack with it. Meisei seems to have grown a size of late, making him more difficult to push around. And those double inside grips of his really stand out. Certainly, I didn't look too good when he got that inside left on me. I was pleased with the few times I got the Ozeki to the dohyo's edge," said Meisei. "I wasn't concerned about the score, and was pleased with the session overall. It had good modulation. I was well up for fighting him, because unless I do, I have no idea how he plans to hurt me." To his regret, a flash of pain in his ankle during the final bout forced him to cut his involvement short. Shodai continued his confidence rebuild against Wakatakakage and friends, recovering from a slow start and one-sided force-outs to take 7 bouts from 11. "I wanted to get to 15, but my body's not quite there yet," he said. "I always find myself holding back against my junior stablemates, so compared with that, these sessions are really good." Waka, fighting a total of 8 bouts in winner stays on, said, "I was happy to be called out by the Ozeki, and there were moments where I really felt the difference in power. I can't really point to particular gains over the past 3 days, but I don't feel in bad condition. I believe, in general, I've come to hold my own at the Tachi-ai, but I want to hit with even more power and possibly grow a size too." And elsewhere in the city on Wednesday, Oitakaze colleagues Dai Eisho and Tsurugisho, first and second division title winners in January, received new ceremonial aprons from Nihon University. As you may know, Tsurugisho graduated from there some years back, while Dai Eisho is currently studying at the graduate school, and hoping to inspire other wrestlers to do likewise. The aprons were designed by the wife of university chief and sumo club supremo Hidetoshi Tanaka, mentor of Saitama Sakai's director, and anxious to further expand his all-powerful Nichidai network through Dai Eisho. April Interstable then closed on Thursday with an all-Ozeki rematch. Despite having joked he'd play hooky, Shodai was keen to make amends for Monday's thrashing, and did perform better, taking 5 bouts off Asanoyama. But he still lost 10, and had quite some explaining to do. "I'm not able to attack," he began. "When I slot into shape I can get forward, but outside of that it was tough. I do feel a bit fatigued, and maybe that my motivation is not where it was for the first 2 days. Obviously, I was taking care not to get injured too." He suggested he might watch some anime to ease the stress of lockdown-style restrictions in the run-up to May. Asanoyama, meanwhile, felt he had well used his rare meetings with salaried wrestlers to fine-tune his inside right and stance. Mitakeumi, despite a stack of defeats, was equally grateful for salaried company, saying, "I could lock horns with the Ozeki, and really go for it with the similarly ranked Onosho and Wakatakakage. I've now got to thoroughly do the basics back at the stable, and really work on my pushing." He finished with a 3-6 showing against Onosho and Waka, but, as is custom now, promised us 10 wins in the next tournament. Onosho, who came through that winner stays on session with 9-5, said, "I had a big losing score in March, so I'm really looking to put things right, and trained well accordingly. I'm working on my Tachi-ai angles now, and this week I've also grasped quite a lot about explosive power output, in terms of timing and distance." Also contributing well to Interstable was Ishiura, who looks set for a top division return when rankings are announced on Monday. "At the start of the week, my condition was really poor, but things felt better from then on," was his verdict. However, he confessed his left wrist had been hurting for some time, and forced him out of Wednesday's session early. He could therefore only do 7 bouts on the final morning, but still believes he can liven May up. And not with his fists, we hope. Sadly though, the final day of Interstable was clouded over with gloomy predictions on the virus. With a 3rd state of emergency set to be declared, conveniently at holiday time so the primacy of the office remains unchallenged, Asanoyama resigned himself to fighting mainly for a TV audience. On Friday night, the emergency was confirmed, and the first 3 days of May 2021 will be fought without the fans. Whether those fans return on day 4 depends on whether the emergency has any more meaning than January's. It's by no means guaranteed. Watch this space, and in the meantime, prepare for the new rankings.